Dear students, let us continue our learning the course System Software and the Compiler. This is the sixth session of the module 4. The topics covered under this session are symbol tables, grammars, and lex versus handwritten lectures from the chapter Lex and Yak. Myself, Dr. Suresh Adi from the Department of Computer Science and Engineering of Kendra Engineering College, Bantwal, Mangalore. To start with, let us start with the symbol table. Fine. So, symbol table is one of the most important factor which is there between the lex and the yak. That is your lexer and the parser. Right? So, when we go with the definition of the symbol table, so symbol table is always a location, a place, a table. So, which will store the symbol along with the values. So, along with the values or the type or the type of the symbol. So, symbol along with its type will be stored over there. So, let us take the example. So, in the previous example of the Lex program, we have used a static rules wherein all the symbols we defined earlier. Then those symbols when we give for as the input that will be identified. This example, let us take the example of the verb. So, how we have defined is, or, were. If they appear, then we used to in the action part we used to write the printf statement. We used to write them as the verb over there. So wherein the symbols are defined at the beginning only in the rule section. So in place of that one, let us alter that program so that these symbols will read and while we run, then we go for identifying the symbols. Let us take the example as I will read it as the list of the verbs. The list of the verbs are is, are, were. Right? So next time when I give the symbol as is, so it should print me as is a verb. So is a verb. So this I should get as the output. That is the symbol I will the list of the symbols I will give during the runtime when I run, and the next time when I give those symbols, so then it should be recognized. Fine. So now when I go for doing this approach, I need an location wherein I can store these symbols. So where I should store these symbols, so that location is nothing but the symbol table. So that is that symbol table will hold these symbols. Now, if I take this example, is, so that symbol will be entered into the symbol table is. So the type of is a verb. Let us give one number to it. So I will give the number as 1. The next symbol is or. The next symbol is or. So that will be given as a 1. Again, were. So were is also a verb. I will give the symbol as a 1. Fine. So next, let me define some more symbols over there. I will define the noun over there. So noun, cat, and the dog. So even they will be stored to the symbol table. So cat, I will give the type as the noun. So for the noun, I will give some different number over there. So let it be 2. The next one is dog. Fine. So next time when I give the input as dog, so it should search this symbol in this symbol table. So dog is present over here, and it should give the type of it. What is the type of the dog? It is 2. 2 is nothing but a noun. It should print it as a dog is a noun. Dog is a noun. So this is what my requirement is. That is, I need to define the symbols, and I will store the symbols into the symbol table. And the next time when I give those symbols directly, I should be able to identify what that symbol is. So for that, application, I need a memory area wherein I need to store the symbol along with the type of the symbol. Fine. So now where to store this one? So that place we call it as a symbol table. That is, a symbol table is a memory location. Symbol table is a memory location which will be used to store the symbol along with its type, or the values. Fine. So along with the symbol, along with the type will be stored over there. Fine. Then next. Now let us go for the implementation of the this one. So in the lex, so it will be, so each lex program, as we have discussed earlier, so it will have the three different parts. So the first part, let us look. The first part is our definition section. So the definition section will include your header file. Will include the header file. Along with that one, all the declarations I need to make. Along with that one, I need to make all the required declarations I need to make. Fine. So first I am defining all the symbolic constants over here. So enum. So enum is an keyword which we use for the enumeration. Enum is the keyword which we use for the enumeration, which is one of the way of defining the constants. So which are all the constants I am giving? So by default, I will take the constant value as a lookup, that will be equal to 0. Then the rest of the case. So verb will be equal to 1. Adjective will be equal to 2. Then adverb will be equal to 3. So even though we are not given the constants over here, by default it will take in the enumerations. Fine. That is, it will start only for the initial we are going to give, that is 0. Then the rest will be an auto incremented, and that constant will be held over there. Then a noun will be equal to 4. Then the preposition will be 5. Pronoun will be 6, and the conjunction will be 7. Fine. So next, to hold this one, so we are using a variable called state over here. Now I come across the two different functions over here. One will be the add word, and other one is the lookup word. So now for these two functions, so this is my symbol table. So this is my symbol table. Fine. It is a memory area. It's a memory area. Actually, I am storing it as a table over here. Actually, it is nothing but in a linked list over there. Practical implementation, we go with the linked list. Because the size is not limited with the linked list. But if I go with the static array type, then I should have in the limited storage over there. To avoid that circumstance, we normally go with the concept of the linked list over there. Fine. So now in this one, now I have the two functions over here. One is the add, other is the lookup. Lookup means search. One will be the adding the symbols to the symbol table, and the other one is searching for the symbols in the symbol table. So now in this case, first let me define as a noun. The noun are a cat and the dog. Let me take the cat and the dog. So now they will be stored into the symbol table. How it will be stored? The first one is a cat. So what is the type of the cat? Cat is a noun. What is the constant for it? 4. That is, I am adding the words to the symbol table. You should observe. I am adding the word to the symbol table. And the next one is the dog. Next one is the dog. What is the type of it? Again, it is a noun. That will be, the value will be 4 over there. So next I will define as a verb. So verb is and the was. So now this will be entered into the symbol table as a is a verb. So verb, what is the constant value? That is the 1. Then next one was. The type will be 1 over there. So next time when I give the thing as a cat. Now, so earlier what I have done, when I am starting my sentence with these keywords. What are the keywords? Noun, verb, adjective, adverb, preposition, pronoun, and the conjunction. So when I start my line with these keywords, then whatever the symbols which are next to it, that will be entered into the symbol table. So next, when I give them directly, so now when I give it directly, when I give it as a cat directly, I should get the output as a cat is a noun. I should get the output as a cat is a noun over there. So this is what my program should do. Fine. So now under this one, now I need to search this cat over here. So where it is present here? Here cat is present. What is the type of the cat? The type is 4. So 4 means what? It's a noun. So it should print me as the noun over there. Fine. So this is what I need. So for this one, I am using the two functions over here. One is the add word function, other is the lookup word function. So add word is used to add the symbol to the symbol table along with its type. So this is our type 1, 4 and all. This is the type. That is I need to add that symbol to the symbol table along with the type of the symbol. The type will be this one 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 7. Fine. Then look up when the line is starting with these keywords I need to add. When the line will not start with this one, when the line will not start with this one, in those cases I need to search for that word from the symbol table. That is I need to search over there. So for that one I am calling the function as a lookup word over there, for which I am passing the just the word. So now the return type will be the integer, means this will be returned. 4 will be returned over here. So 4 means what? I need to print it as a noun over there. Fine. So this is what the work. For that one I am using the two functions. One is the lookup word, other one is the add word, which is used to add the word to the symbol table. Now if we continue. So now let us go with the rule section. So in the rule section, by default, so whenever I press the enter key, I will set the state equal to lookup. Lookup means the value will be equal to 0. Right? So next time, so if the line will start with the keyword verb, when the line will start with the keyword verb, so how we used to give verb, then followed by the list of verbs. So as, is, was, so list of words. So when the line will start with this one, then I will change the state to the verb. In the same way, when the line will start with the adjective, I will set the state to the adjective. When the line will start with the adverb, I will set the state to the adverb. Then when I start the line with the noun, I will set the state to the noun. When the line will start with the preposition, I will set the state to the preposition. When the line will start with the pronoun, then I will set the state to the pronoun. When the line will start with the conjunction, I will set the state to the conjunction. Fine. Next. So now when I get the rest of the words, after verb, I am getting the is over here. So now does this value is to be entered to the symbol table, or I need to search for is from the symbol table? That depends on this state. Fine. So whenever it is a verb, then the state will be equal to verb, that is the value as 1. Fine. In the next case when I go for searching this one, so when I give the is directly, whenever I will give the is directly over there, so now I need to search for this is in the symbol table. So now what is the state over there? In that case, whenever I press the enter key, I am setting the reset value, that is a state, I will set it to the lookup. Lookup is value will be equal to 0. Means when the state value is not equal to lookup, in those cases I need to add that word to the symbol table. Whenever the state is not equal to lookup, I need to add that word to the symbol table. When the state equal to lookup, in this example, state will be equal to lookup, because on each enter key, we are resetting the state to the lookup. Whenever the state will be equal to lookup, in all those cases, we need to search. We need to search that symbol from the symbol table. Whenever the state is not equal to lookup, I need to add. Fine. So now the same thing will be done for the rest of the words. So word means what? It is an one or more combination of the alphabet. How we are going to write alphabet? Single alphabet is a small a to small z and the capital A to capital Z. So this will be your single alphabet. So one or more such characters are going to make up the word. So one or more symbol is our plus. So now for this case, so now whenever for the rest of the words, if the state is not equal to lookup, then we will add that word to the symbol table. So that is along with the type and the YY text. This YY text we already learned in our previous video, as there are two built-in functions are there. One is your YY text, which will always have the matched token. YY text will have the matched token, and the length of the matched token will be there in the function YY length, that is YYLENG. So YY text will have the matched token, and the length of the matched token will be held in the YY length. That is whatever the token we are matching. In this case, is a YY text. In the next case, was is a text. That will be matched and that will be entered into the symbol table along with the type. The type will be stored in the state. So in the next example, in the next one, if you continue, when the state is equal to lookup, then I will go with the switch. Then I will go with the switch here. Fine. So I switch, I will call the function lookup that. So lookup means I will search for that word in the symbol table. So that is going to give me the type of it. The type can be 1 from 1 to 7. If it is 1, 1 means your verb. It's a symbolic constant I told. Enumeration is used for defining the symbolic constant. So if it is a verb, then I will print it as a verb over there. Whatever the text we are getting, that is a verb we are printing. And we will break. Then if it is adjective, I will print it as adjective. Adverb, it is I will print it as adverb. Noun, I will print it as a noun. Preposition, pronoun, and the conjunction. If it won't recognize anything, then I will print it as a don't. I won't recognize that one. Let me take the simple example. Fine. So in the verb list, I have used is and the was. So, but when I go for the giving the input in place of is, there is a spelling mismatch, and I will give ISE over there. So now this word is not there in this symbol table. It was not there in the symbol table. It is not present. So when it is not present, I will print the message that won't recognize. It has not. It is not a part of my symbol. So I won't recognize that one. That is a case. Fine. So that to handle that one, we are using this one. That is I don't recognize, and I will break it. Fine. And any special character if I give in my input has hash or some other thing, if I give any special character, that will be just ignored here. This is used to handle the special character. Dot stands for any character except the new line character. It will recognize any character. Do nothing. Do nothing is your semicolon. Do nothing. Just put the semicolon over there. Means that action part, there is no such a thing is there. Right? So this will be regarding your role section. So now we have seen the one will be your definition section we have seen, wherein we have done the enumerations. Then next we have seen the rule section, which is going to call the function either the add word function or the lookup word depending on the state value. So next one. What is our next pass? Our next pass is our user subroutine section. So in the user subroutine section, I am calling the function y while x. So in the user subroutine section, I am calling the function y while x, which will be called, which will be a part of our lex file, that is c file lex.yy.c. So that is going to check whether it is a verb, noun, and all to that case. For that one, we are using the function y while x is called over there. Right? So now let us go for implementing this symbol table. So now in the symbol table, I told we are not using an static table. In place of that one, a dynamic table. Dynamic means which is linked. It is nothing but the implementation of the linked list. So now in the linked list, I will have a node over there. So each node will have the 3 fields. The first one will be your symbol. First one will be a symbol. Symbol is nothing but your word. Whatever the word we are passing, that will be my symbol. And the type of it. Type means noun 1 to 7 we have seen. Starting from verb. Verb will be equal to 1, adverb, adjective, conjunction, and all. So that will be the symbol. That is the type of it. That is the type. Then next to that one, we have a link to the next node. Fine. So that will be a structure. That is, first one will be a string that is used to hold the word. Then next one will be the type of the word. And the next one is the pointer, which will point to the next structure, which will point to the next node. So like that, I will create a word list over here. So this will be in each word. Then in the same way, I will create the word list over here. Then next will be the two functions. One will be here. This is malloc is used for the memory allocation, dynamic memory allocation. Then next will be an add word function. Two functions we come across. One will be the add word, other is a lookup word. So this is my add word function. So what I used to do, verb, then the is was there. Fine. So now when I call this one, so now what are the arguments will be passed? Is will be passed along with its type is 1. So 1 is copied to the type and the word is copied to the word over there. Fine. So now before inserting this value to that symbol table, I need to check whether is already there. If in the earlier, if I defined as a noun is. So that is already there. That is already there. So again, if I go for reinserting that word, it should be an error. So let us take the example. In the C, if you declared as int a, I made the declaration as int a. So next, in the next line, I will put it as a float a. In the next line, I will put it as a float a over there. So now what happens? So you will get an error, multiple declaration error. That error I need to handle. So how to handle that one? Whenever I call that function add word, in that add word function, I will call the function lookup word, that is search. If it is not equal to lookup, if it is not equal to lookup, so not equal to lookup means, if it is equal to lookup means, so that word is not present, it is going to return the value 0. So if it is already present, it will give the type of it, right? So it will give the type, it type can be 1 2 3 up to 7, fine. If it is not present, then it will give the value as 0. If it is not present, then it will give the value as 0. If it is already present, then it will give the value from 1 to 7. That we are checking. If it is not equal to lookup, means that word is already present, that warning message we are printing. That is, that word is already defined, that warning message we are printing, and we will return from this routine. If that is not present, if that word is not present, then we go for creating a node first. So this way is going to create the node, WP, word pointer. So it is going to create the node. So now once the node is created, so next that we're going to give the connection over there. That is the word WP of next will be equal to your word list. Then to this WP we will copy the name. So the text is I need to copy. Before that one I need to do the allocation of the memory for it. So that is whatever the memory it is needed to store this is, that much memory I need to allocate. So is to store this is, I need how many bytes of memory? 1, that is 1, 2, at the end of each character I need to have a null character. So it will be 3. 3 characters I need. That we are doing. So string length of that word, what is the string length of is? That will be equal to 2 plus 1. So that many bytes will be allocated to the name, and I copy this word to the word name. So once I copied my word, then next is I need to copy the type of it. So the type I am copying. Then I will reset my WP with the word list. Then I will return the value as 1. That is, I completed my add word function. So this is going to add the repeated with the repetitive call of this one. This is going to add the function, add the words to the symbol table. Symbol table is not actually table. It is nothing but in a linked list. We are keep on joining. Each one we keep on joining over there. So next function, what is our next function? Lookup word. So in the lookup word function, I need to search for that word. I need to search for that word. So that is, I will take this word list. I will copy it to the WP, because that word list I can't move. It's an one-dimensional singly linked list. Since it is a singly linked list, if we move forward, we can't get back to the original place. So that's why that starting point I will copy it to the WP. Then I will, as long as WP is present, we used to have the loop. How to move to the next one? WP will be equal to WP of next. So while making the, before making the movement, I will make the comparison over there. So that is whatever that word we are checking, that word we check with the word which is there in the table. That is WP of word name. If there is a match, it is going to give the value as a 0. If I get a 0 over there, then I am going to return the type of that one. I am going to return the type of it. If it won't match, then it will go to this statement wherein I will return the lookup. What is the value of lookup? Lookup will be equal to 0. Means if it is present, it will give any value from 1 to 7. And if that word is not present, then it is going to give the value as lookup. Lookup value is 0. Right? And this is how the add word and the lookup word functions were implemented. This is our symbol table. So how it is handled, you can see the example which is present over here. So now in this example, I will give the list over there. Verb is, am, are, were, was, be, being, been, do. Next time when I give the is, it will print it as a verb over there. In the same way, I will create the table. This is going to insert the values. Here I am going to search the values. Dog, noun, run, it's a verb. So like that I used to. Fine. So this is how the symbol table is implemented. And this symbol table is very much needed for the Lexer and the Yacc to communicate, which we will explain now. Fine. So now, so this is how the Lexer will be done. Fine. So now let us continue our discussion, and let us start with the Yacc. So let me write one simple program, then I will come back for explaining the grammar. That is your context-free grammar, how the context-free grammar is used in the implementation of the Yacc program. Fine. So now, let me write the example for your a power, most familiar example of your automata, that is your a power n, b power n, wherein n greater than or equal to 0. If I want to write the grammar for this one, how it will be written? S derives A S B or epsilon. Fine. So this is one of the important grammar what we learnt in the automata theory. Let us continue with the same example. It is epsilon. It is epsilon. Fine. So now let us take the same example over here. So now I want to write the Yawk program to recognize this input that recognize this language. We can call this as a language. To recognize this language, I need to write the LEX program, a Yawk program. For this Yawk program, each Yawk program will have the two parts over there. One will be your LEX part, other one is the Yawk part. One will be the LEX part and other one is the Yawk part. That is, each Yawk program will have the two programs over there. One will be the LEX, let me call it as a 1.l. So this will have the extension as a .y, 1.y. These are the two files. In that LEX file, in this LEX, so this L, this is 1.l, that is 1.y. So now in this LEX file, first section will be my definition section, percentage open and the percentage close. Then the double percentage symbol for the rule section and the double percentage symbol for closing the rule section. And there is no user subroutine section in the LEX part. Normally, when we go for writing the Yawk programs, in the LEX part of it, we won't write the user subroutine section. This is our LEX part. Right? So now in this LEX part, so we include one table over here. So that is a hash include the table what we include over here is y dot tab dot h. Y dot tab dot h. So this you normally confuse with the tab dot c, but here you should include that file y dot tab dot h. This is the symbol table. This is the symbol table which is used between the communication of the LEX and Yawk. Fine. So how it is used, I will explain. So now this symbol table I am including in the LEX. So now what are the tokens I need? I need the A and the B. These are the tokens which are needed over there. Fine. So if I get an A, then I will give the token as I am not printing over here. Look here, I am using the word return over here. That is, this will be given to the Yawk. Return it as a token A. So in place of A, I give the name as a token A. Then if I get the B, I will return it as a token B. I will return it as a token B. So if I get anything other than this one, I need to handle all the cases. If I get anything other than this one dot, then I will return it as a special character. I will return it as a special character. There are, even though they are invalid, but we have to recognize all possible input from the keyboard. Then if I get the enter key, because this will mark my end. So if I get the enter key, I will return as the EOL over there. You return it as the EOL. So nowhere I am printing any of the values over here. I am just returning the values. Where I am returning, so that we will discuss. So token A, token B, special character and the end of the line. So this is the LEX part, LEX program for providing the token. So now this is LEX is meant for providing the tokens. So fine. So now let us go with the Yawk part. Let us go with the Yawk part over here. So now in the Yawk part, again there will be three sections will be there, similar to that of your LEX. Three section. First will be my definition section. First will be the definition section. Here some more things we are going to add up. We will discuss the tokens and the double percentage symbol. So this is my definition section. So here we have included the symbol table in the LEX. No need to include in the Yawk. By default it will be taken. No need to include the symbol table in the Yawk. So that by default this is going to take up the symbols from the symbol table. Just the printing and all it is needed. So for that reason, that header file I am going to include, which is needed for the printing business. That is what is our header file? Hash include stdio.h. That header file I am including over here. Hash include stdio.h. Fine. The tokens. What are the tokens from the legs? The tokens from the legs are token A, then the token B, then the next one is a special character, that is SP, and then the other one is a EOL. These are the tokens from the legs. That token we are writing. Then next will be the rule section. In the rule section, again there are two parts are there. One will be our in the lecture. What the rule section will have? Pattern and the action. Here we will have the grammar and the action. What is our grammar? Yes derives. If we go the grammar over here, what is our grammar? Yes derives A, S, B or the epsilon. So let us use the same convention over here. In place of arrow, we will write the colon. This is the syntax. In place of arrow, we write the colon over there. So for A, we given the some different name. What is that one? Token A. So I given it as a token A. Then next is the yes. Then in place of B, I should give it as a token B. That is the first one. Second one, or. Epsilon. Epsilon means nothing. Nothing I am going to read. Then I will put the semicolon. Semicolon will mark the end of the grammar. Semicolon will mark the end of the grammar. This is my end of the rule section. This is my end of the rule section. Fine. So now the grammar we have written. What is the action? What is the action part of it? We have to write that action part over there. So if this is the case, then it is a valid grammar. So if this is the case, then I will write the action part. So action I will enclose in the flower bracket. That is a open flower bracket. Then I will put the statement printf. Then I will write it as a valid. Printf valid. So this is a valid input. If it follows this one, then it is invalid. Then I will return 0. Valid. Then I will return 0. Then I will close my this. Okay. Next. Next will be our main. So from the main, next will be my main. In the main, in place of that yylex, here I am going to call the function as yyparse. In place of yylex, I will call the function as a yyparse, and I will open and close. Then I will close it. Now along with the main, we have to have one more function. Fine. One more function. Fine. So this function will be your error. If there is any error in the parsing, then it will go to this function. This is your error. If there is any error in the parsing, I will tell what is that error in that parsing. So error. So in this one, we are going to printf invalid. I will print it as a invalid. And then I will close it. Fine. Return 1 you can write or exit you can write. Fine. So now let us see how these two are communicate with one another. Fine. So this is an Yawk program. In this one I have included, this is my grammar part. This is my grammar part. How these two will be communicated to one another. As we have discussed earlier, so each lex, so this is my input program. So input program will be given to the lexical analyzer, that is our lex. Lexical analyzer, in short, I am calling it as a lex. Then the other one will be our Yawk. So Yawk is nothing but our parser. So Yawk we call it as the parser, and the lex will be the lexical analyzer. Right? So this parser, we are calling this yyparse. This is our high level routine. So we are calling the yyparse here. So this is a part of a parser. Right? So now when I call this yyparse, so what happens? This parser is called. So this parser will call this lex internally. When it is called, whenever, suppose here, yes, need the token A. From where it should get the token? It should get the tokens from the lexer. It should get the tokens from the lexer. So how here it is going to call? It is going to call the function yylex. It is going to call the function yylex. So when the lexer will call the lex, it should give the token to the parser. Should I give it in a hand? No, I can't give it in a hand. These two are the functions. Then how to give that one? It will be given with the help of the symbol table. With the help of the symbol table, the lexer will give the tokens to the parser. With the help of the symbol table, the lexer will provide the tokens to the Yawk. That is, it will put the token over here. This will be taken by the parser. This is what we call the lexer parser communication. So we call the parser as we have written the main in the parser program. That is your Yawk program. We have written the function over there YY This YY parse is a part of parser. This will call the lexer. This will call the lexer over there. That lexer, in the lexer we have included that symbol table. What is the symbol table we have included? Do you remember that one? It is your y dot tab dot h. The symbol table what we have included in the lexer is y dot tab dot h. So that will be given to to that location the lexer will place the tokens. Those tokens will be taken by the parser. Those tokens will be taken by the parser and it will continue its work. Fine. So this will be the lexer and the parser communication. This file name. Fine. So now if we go for executing this one, how the things will work. If I go for executing this work, first will be the gedit command. So normally either we use the gedit or the VE editor we can use. But in our lab, we used to have the gedit over there in the Linux. Gedit, the file name is 1.l. This is my lex file. In the same way, I am going to create my Yawk file. So let it be gedit 1.y. This is my Yawk file. The first command, this I need to convert this lex file to the C file. How to convert lex 1.l? So this will create the C file. What is the name of that C file? This we have already seen. What is that one? Lex.yy.c. The name of this file is lex.yy.c. This will have the function yylex. This C file, what is our C file? Lex.yy.c. This C file will have the function called yylex, which will be called normally. Then next for the Yawk, to convert our Yawk file to the C program, the command what we use Yawk, then the -d, the file name is 1.y. So this will create again, this will create a C file. The name of that file is y.tab.c. The name of that file is y.tab.c. Don't get confused with the y.tab.h. y.tab.h is a symbol table that is to be included in the lex definition section of the lex program. This y.tab.c is the C file which is created for that lex file, Yawk file. Then next to compile them. So I need to join and I need to compile. So for that one I use the command cc. First one is lex.yy.c, lex.yy.c. Then next one is this one, Yawk file. That is our y.tab.c. Then -ll, link the libraries. So this is going to create the exe file. The name of that exe file is /a.out. The name of that file is /a.out. So in place of this one, I want to give some other name to that exe file, so that if I create the next file, this a.out will be overwritten. In place of this one, I want to give in some other file to that exe file. So in that case, I used to give the command as a cc, then the -o, that is the object file. Let me give the file name as a trial. Let me give the file name as a trial over here. And these commands, rest of the commands I will write over here. That is lex.yy.c space y.tab.c space -ll. Next, to run this one, no need to use this /a.out. In place of this one, I can use a / what is the name of the exe file we have created? That is your trial. This I can write. Fine. So this will be regarding the writing the grammars. In place of writing the grammar, the things to remember is in place of arrow, we write the colon. To end the grammar, we use the semicolon. And this will is the grammar. First part will be the grammar in the rule section. Second part is the action for that grammar. Right? Then when that YY error will be executed, whenever in this case. So if my input is AABB, then it's a valid sequence. It is following our A power n, B power n, right? First we have the two A's followed by the two B's. So this will be there. In place of this one, if I give the AB, even this is having the two A's and the two B's. But it is not as per our grammar A power n, B power n. As per this grammar, after B, I should not get the A. As per this grammar, I should not get the A, but I am getting over here. Even though I have two A's, two B's here also, here also. Lexer is doing its work. But the grammar, the rules will be checked in the Yawk part. The rules will be checked in the Yawk part, which will have the grammar which will be written over there. That is, the grammar are nothing but the set of rules which we impose. The grammar is nothing but the set of rules which we impose, and those rules will tell us what to be done. Those rules will tell us what to be done. Fine. So now once we are clear with the example, let us continue with our standard English example. That is, we used to have the grammar as a subject derives noun or the pronoun. Noun or the pronoun. And the object can be in a noun. Sentence can be in a sentence, a verb and the object. And the next will be the lexer parser communication. In the lexer parser communication, we are going to have the symbol table. The name of the symbol table is a y dot tab dot h, and to call that a lexer, we call the function yylex will be called over there. Yylex will be called over there. Fine. So now let us go with our English example wherein we recognize the parts of the speech. So in this parts of the speech example, so we are defining the various constants. Noun, I am giving the number as 257, pronoun 258, verb 259, adverb 260, adjective 261, preposition 262, conjunction will be the 263. Right? So now this is my definition section. So in this definition section, here till here. So I am including this y dot tab dot h. So what is that y dot tab dot h? It is a symbol table. Symbol table which is used to pass the tokens from a lex to the Yawk. Then I will start with the lookup value will be equal to 0. Then how the sentence will be written? How it will be written? I am teaching. Some have the habit of putting the full stop at the end. If we are an actual English teacher, normally we used to put the full stop at the end. But as an computer science students, so normally we just type our input and we press the enter key over there. Right? That is both the options are there, right? So either we give the direct enter key over there. In that case, this is the first case. I will set the state equal to lookup, or I will give the full stop and the enter key. So even in that case, I should reset. So how to do that one? A dot I can't directly recognize. I need to put the backslash, because a dot has a special meaning of matching any of the character. Then followed by the enter key. Enter key is your backslash. So in these two cases, I will set the state will be equal to lookup. In these two cases, I am setting the state will be equal to lookup. Fine. Then the next one. In the next example, next one, if the line is same example, if the line will start with the verb, then I will set the state equal to verb. If it starts with the adjective, state will be equal to adjective, means these are the symbolic constants. Within value from lookup will be equal to 0. These verb, adjective, adverb, noun, that is from 1 to 7. Verb will be 1, adjective 2, adverb 3, noun 4, preposition 5, pronoun 6, and the conjunction will be the 7. So next, when I get the next word, I will check here. If the state is not equal to lookup, then I am going to add that one. If any one among them, then I am going to add. If the state equal to lookup, then I will go for searching. After searching, we are not printing over here. You should observe. We are not printing. What we are doing here, we are returning. To where we are returning? To the Yawk we are giving through the symbol table. We are returning these symbols to the Yawk. How it will be returned? It will be returned with the help of the symbol table. What is our symbol table? Y dot tab dot h. Y dot tab dot h is the symbol table which will be common in between the lex and the Yawk. Fine. The next. Then the next will be the when it will be reset on the dot or the new line. We are going to reset this one. So now let us look at the Yawk program over here. Then let us look at the Yawk program over there. In that Yawk program, now in this Yawk part. So now this Yawk part will have the extension as a dot y. You have to remember that the lex part will have the extension as dot l. This will have the extension as a dot y. So the first part, the definition section. So we are including the header file over here. No need to include the symbol table. By default, it will be included. And the tokens from the lex. What are the tokens? Noun, pronoun, verb, adverb, adjective, preposition and the conjunction. Whatever we are returning over there, that we have to receive as a token here. Whatever the tokens we are returning, giving from the lex using the return statement, that is to be recognized over here as the token over here. Then next, sentence. So now the rule section, this will be your rule section. In this rule section, again two parts are there, fine. So now if you observe, so this is my grammar. This is my grammar, that is a sentence. In place of arrow, I am putting the colon, subject, verb and the object. So that verb is the token. This is the token. Then next, what is the action? It is in a sentence is valid. Then the subject will be in a noun or the pronoun, object will be in a noun. Fine. So now, here, again you are using that one more special word over here, that is your YY in. Fine. So similar to that of your YY text and YY length. So these two we have already learned. So YY text will always have the matched token and the length of the token will be stored in the YY length. The length of that one will be stored in the YY length. In the same way, there are two more functions are there. One will be keywords, not functions we can call. Two more keywords, that is first one is YY in, other one is YY out. This YY in is used by default, the input will be taken from the keyboard. By default, the input will be taken from the keyboard. If I want to have my input from the file, then I am going to use this keyword YYN. It is a file pointer. YYN is a file pointer, so that is going to read the input from the file. Next, by default, the output will be printed on the monitor. In place of the monitor, if I want to print my output to the file, in those cases, I am going to use the YY out file pointer. YY in file pointer is used if you want to change your input mode from keyboard to the file. And YY out file pointer will be used if you want to write the output to the file, not to the monitor. In those cases, YY out function is used. Now in the main, I will check here. If not file end of file YY in, I am going to call the function YY parse. So this YY parse is going to call this lexer and all, and it is going to match the token and it is going to print. Right? So now, one more function you can see over here. What is this one? YY error. So in that YY error, when the YY error will be executed, if the tokens won't match, the token recognition will be done in the lexer. The token it will pass it to the Yawk. In the Yawk, if they are not following the grammar rules, in the Yawk, if they are not following the grammar rules, then it will go to the error routine. That error is your YY error. So whenever we take up our header file stdio.h, whenever we take up our stdio.h, this will have the three header files over there, three streams actually. So the first stream is your stdin. This is a standard input stream. Then for the output, the stream is std out. For the output, the stream is a std out. Then next for the error, the stream is std error. For the error, the stream is a std error. These are the three streams you should know. Right? So to this std error, to this output, we are printing the error message. Means the token is not recognized or invalid. Some message we are going to print. Fine. So this will be writing the Yawk program. Fine. That is in the Yawk program, you need to remember that again it is having the three parts similar to that of your Lex program. The three parts are first will be definition section, role section, user subroutine section. But in the user subroutine section, you need to remember that in the role section, in place of pattern, here we are going to write the grammar over there. And adding to this one more function we are using, that is your YY error, which will be executed whenever there is an error in the parsing, this YY error will be executed. Fine. The same example, but it is having the multiple English rules over there. That is, earlier we used to have only the simple sentence. Now some more other combinations are added. So in this case, they have added the combination as a compound sentence. Simple sentence can be subject, verb, object, or subject, verb, object, and the phrase. Then compound sentence can be a simple sentence, conjunction, simple sentence, or compound sentence, conjunction, simple sentence. Like that, we are adding the different new rules will be added over there. Means whatever the rules you want to have, you can put those rules in this Yawk part. Fine. The next one. The next one will be the running the Lex and the Yawk. So these commands we have already discussed. That is, first will be where it starts from the gedit, that is for creating. Then next, converting the Lex file to the C file, we use the command as a Lex, file name.l. Next, to convert the Yawk program to the C file, we use the Yawk -d and the file name.y. Then cc hyphen c then lex.yy.c space y.tab.c hyphen ll. Then it is going to create the exe file as a.out. If I want to use a different name over there, then the next option cc hyphen o means creating a different object file. The name of that file is example hyphen m dot n. Then the other files are lex.yy.c and y.tab.c, then the hyphen l. This is how we go for running the lex and the yak. These commands you are going to practice in your lab also over there, wherein you have the system software and the operating system laboratory. You are going to cover this. The next one, the last topic for today, that is lex and the handwritten lexes. Even though this one we covered in under the lex, when I explained in the previous videos, when I was explaining the lex, I covered this one, but there I told importance regarding the lex. Fine. So now when we go to the yak, how this will be useful, that we are discussing. So before that one, in your previous paragraph, if you look, in this paragraph, the ex, that symbol table what we use, it is y.tab.eh, that is your symbol table, and the file name is y.tab.c. And but each operating system has a different convention. In the MS DOS, this dot is missing over there. That is y.tab.c and y.tab.h. It will be used over there. Then let us take this example. First, we have then recognition using the C program. Fine. So how it will be written? The header files. Then next, the different constants, number 400, comment 401, text 402, comment 403. How we go for recognizing, let me tell. The number can be anything, that is, these are the three cases, 12, 12.83 and just 0.83. So these are the three different ways for defining the numbers. Here either I can have only integers. Then what the next option, integers followed by a dot followed by the integers. Then the next option is a dot followed by the integers. First option, in all these cases we will call it as a number. Then the comment, the lines which are beginning with the hash, and it will continue running till I get the backslash n. Backslash n is what? Enter key. Till I get the enter key, whatever it is there, that will be taken as a comment. Then the text, anything which is there between the double quotes opening and the double quotes closing, or I can have the backslash n in between. This will be taken as a text. This will be taken as a text. Command, so it is a text which will start with an alphabet, then followed by alphabet or the digit. It will start with the alphabet, then followed by the any number of alphabet or the digit of any number. So now I want to recognize them. I want to recognize these four different types. What are the different types? So one can be a number, other can be a comment, other can be a text, or other can be a comment. Fine. So how it will be handled? The next will be your command line argument, that is argc will be your argument count, and argv is the list of the argument. That is, if you take up the example, if I use ./a.out, then next to that one, if I put as a in.txt, and the next I am going to put it as out.txt. So while running, I am giving these arguments. One is in.txt, other one is out.txt. So now these are the command line arguments. The count, how many are there? 1, 2, 3. That will be stored in the argc. Argc will have the value as 3. Then the argument list, that is at the 0th index, this will be there, a.out. First index, if I use argv of 1, it will have the value as in.txt. argv of 2 will be your out.txt. Fine. That is the list of the arguments will be there in the argv. The list of the arguments will be there in the argv, and the argument count will be there in the argc. That is the count of the argument. Then the next one, first, we call the lexer over there. So lexer is this routine. First, we need to ignore the white space. As long as it is a single space or a tab of any number, we just put the semicolon. Means whatever the space is there, that will be get ignored. And if I get the end of the file, then I will complete my work and I will return the value as 0. If not, I need to process the first option. That is what the first option, numbers. How it will be? 12, 12.83 and just the 0.83. These three options if you look. Either I can have a dot or the digit, then I will enter into this loop. So in this loop, I will keep on repeating this loop till I am get the digits or I will get the end of the file. So as long as I am getting the digits, they comes under the number, I keep on reading. So once I break this loop, so I break this loop means that there I can be in a second number that is in dot, fine, or I can have the some others. After 12, my input is a 12.83, then I use the text as a double quotes ABC over here as well. So once I get this double quotes, I will break this loop. But I already read this double quotes, but double quotes is not part of the number. So it's a part of what? ABC. So now what to do? You need to put back that character, for which I am using the function ungetC. So which will put back the character, whatever the character is stored in the C, that character I will put back over there. So as long as I am getting in dot or the digit, that comes under the number. So once the other characters I read, that I will put back and I will return it as a number over there. So number is the token. Number is the token. Fine. Then next, once I get the hash, I will keep on reading. How long? Till I get the end of the file or the backslash n. Backslash n is my end character, enter key. Till that place, I will keep on reading. Once I get that one, the last character is not part of that comment. I will put it back. Then I will return it as a comment. So there, that will be the comment over there. The next one. Next, what is that one? It is a text. How the text will be? It will start with the double quotes, end on the double quotes, or in between I can have the enter key over there. If the character is in double quote, I will keep on reading. How long? Till I get the double quotes or the new line character, I will keep on reading. If double quote is a part of the character, that is a part of the text, but not your enter key. If it is an enter key, you put back that enter key to the input stream. But if you get in double quote, you just process it. Right? So that is for your recognizing the text. Then for the next one, command. If the first one is an alphabet, is alpha. If it is an alphabet, you process it until you get the alphanumeric character, you keep on repeating. Once you get any other character, you put back that character and you give it as a command over there. Right? So this is the lex which will be written with the help of the C language. If the same thing is written as a lex program, how it will be? This is my definition section. Number 400, comment 401, 402, 403, text and the comment. Space or the tab, do nothing, just put the semicolon. If I have the space or the tab of any number, just ignore it, put the semicolon over there. Then the next will be the numbers. For the three different cases of numbers, what is the first case over there? Just the digit. So this is for just the digit, 0 to 9 plus. Next case, digit, for just the digit, 12. Next case is a 12.83. Digit followed by a dot followed by the digit. Next example, that is, this is for the digit, dot and the digit. Next option, just 0.83. Digit followed by the, dot followed by the digit. Next option. In these three cases, you return it as a number. In these three cases, you return it as a number over there. Then the next example. Then the next one. Fine. So that will be regarding the number. What is the next one? That is for the comment. How it will be? It will start with the hash. Then what will be there? Dot, star of any number. Means what? I can get any character. Once I get the enter key, automatically it is going to break. In that case, you return it as a comment. Then the text. How it will be there? It will start with the double quotes. It will end on the double quotes. Leaving means in the square bracket I am writing. What I am writing? Not double quotes, or the not double quote is a special character and the new line character. Leaving this one, I can get anything, star. At the end, I should have the double quotes. Right? So till that point, so this is used to recognize the text. Then for the command, first it should be an alphabet followed by an alphabet or digit of any number. I will return it as a command. If it is an enter key, I will return it as a new line character over there. Then this is the main part over there. Means how complex the lex part is when I use the C program, how simple it is when I use the regular expressions over there. Right? So you can just compare the program complexity over there. Right? That is, writing the lex programs is very much simple, whether it is a lex program or it is a part of Yacc. In both the cases, it will be very much simple if we go for writing the lex part using the tool. If the same thing, if it is written using the C language, then it will be very much complex. It will be very much complex. Fine. So in this session, we have started with the symbol table. Then in the symbol table, we have discussed the functions add word and the lookup word functions. and how the symbols are stored in the symbol table and how symbol table is used for communication between the lex and the yak. Then next we have discussed the grammars, and the next we discussed the lexer and the parser communication. At the end, we shown how the lexers are powerful or simple to write when compared to the handwritten lexers in the C program. The references for this presentation are taken from the textbook Doug Grom, John Levin, Tony Mason, Lex and Yak, Relay Media, October 2012. Thank you.